So what do you do if you've graduated from a coding boot camp and after the fact, it's crickets? You're in this weird place where you're not getting jobs, you're not getting callbacks. You ask people for advice. Everyone seems to have a different, very long, exhaustive list of things you do. And you're just kind of feeling confused and like, what was the point? And you're still in your old job and you're ready for a change. What do you do? Fortunately, I've encountered a number of people like this, and to a certain degree, I was like this myself at a certain point. So I'm going to give you a simple framework, very straightforward, very reliable, that works generally reliably in any economic market. And this is what I use when I mentor people, when they come to me in the DMs on LinkedIn and Twitter and everything, and they're asking these questions. This is the list that I go through. We can do this really quickly. It's very straightforward. Number one, I ask them, particularly if you're trying to become a software developer, and especially if you're trying to become a web developer, here's the questions I ask. Number one, do you have a portfolio that is deployed that you are proud of? That's my only criteria, that you are proud of. When I ask that question, I love asking it like real time, like either in person or like we're on a video call, because I'm not only listening for what they say, but how they say it. Certain answers reveal how confident people are in themselves, and whether they know it or not, that's coming across in interviews as well. 3 to 5 projects is normal. Every now and then someone will just come up with a bang up, amazing single project that is greater than 3 or 5 smaller projects, but that's not often. 3 to 5 is normal. All the projects have to be deployed. None of this, my code is in GitHub, here's a screenshot. No, the projects have to be deployed where a person can, with one click, see your code in action. That is a must. Question number 2, have you had your LinkedIn and your resume reviewed? On the LinkedIn side, is it optimized? Are you an all-star on LinkedIn? I always reference, and probably for a long time, I will continue to reference my friend, Danny Thompson. He has an excellent series on getting your job or enhancing your ability to get a job through just your LinkedIn. And it's just a series of steps. You gotta just follow the steps. I know there's a lot of differing opinions about LinkedIn. It's cringe, it's for old people. It's just people, celebrating or gaslighting. I understand that. With all that being said, it is still one of the most reliable ways to increase your exposure of your brand to the world, which is the main thing you're looking at right now. How can I let people know how great I am? LinkedIn is a fantastic way to do that. I'm not going to go through all the steps. Again, check out Danny's series on YouTube. It's like 3 or 4 videos. Go through the steps when you first start on LinkedIn. It will actually help you walk through the steps you need to do to become all-star status. Do that. Resume. Have you had your resume reviewed? Professionally reviewed, or at least reviewed by peers or professionals in industry. Organization that I work with, I talk about all the time, Code Connector. We have on our Slack channel a resume review channel, and you can just drop, take out your personalized information, drop it there, and people will give you free feedback on ways to increase how effective your resume is going to be when you're putting it out there. Okay. Networking. Now more than ever, I'm making this video, April 2023. We are in an interesting climate where the job market is crazy. Numbers of tech companies have done layoffs because they overhired. And now, as recently as last week, I'm beginning to understand that some companies are really just laying off people and then reposting the positions in a form of a salary reset. All that being said, it's not to deter you. All that being said, you absolutely want to leverage people for letting you know about opportunities that are coming up, opportunities that may have not been posted yet, and offering referrals. The referral is your Disney Fast Pass when it comes to job applications, because if 100 people apply and they put that referral in, you may not go to the beginning of the stack, but you won't be at number 100 anymore. There will be a special marker of some type on your application, and that increases your chances. All of these things are not guaranteed, but they are steps toward increasing your chances. Network, meet people online, in person, jump in some more Discords, jump in some more Slack groups, and converse and exchange value and talk about what you're doing and what you're capable of doing and how you can help someone else. Get in these forums and talk. Do the webinars, the seminars, the conferences. Some conferences are expensive, some are free. I was astounded to find out the AWS Summit last year was totally free. All you got to do is show up, and you can make some great connections that can help you. Well, I'm not so much a people person. I'm introverted. I'm shy. I get anxiety. I respect all that, and many of those categories apply to me as well. While those things may be true, you have a job to do by yourself. And doing that job means, in spite of these things being true, there's some steps that I need to take to increase my chances of getting that call back and then passing the interview. And by the way, on this video, I'm not gonna even talk about interviews at all because that's a whole different subject. I'm only talking about how to get to first base. Next one, what is your application strategy? Blindly applying on LinkedIn to 30, 40 places a day without any regard, without any customization of a resume, that is a horrible, horrible, horrible way to go. On the average, I'm telling people between 2 and 3 applications a week is great. And that's every week, because for each job, you're researching the company as much as you can about the tech stack, the team, what they're working on. You're customizing your resume to match the position as closely as possible. That doesn't mean lying or embellishing. It means looking at your wins, your education, whatever you have on your resume to highlight about yourself, and changing the wording to be a closer match to what they're looking for. It is not an implication to lie or embellish at all. I do not endorse that. So 2 to 3 a week is great. You may fix your resume on one day, apply it to somewhere the next day. Maybe a day or so passes, you tweak your resume for some other position, you apply there, right? Hopefully you're reaching out to people. I always love talking about my little LinkedIn hack, where you see a job posted on LinkedIn, and instead of quick applying or even regular applying, do a search for the company, for people in that company, and try to see if someone has actually posted about the position. You can get inside information and begin to build a relationship without even having to go to a person's DMs, because if they post, hey, we're hiring at Acme X, if they've posted that, you can come into the replies and begin a conversation. Hey, this is exactly the type of opportunity I'm looking for. Do you have time for a 10-minute coffee chat sometime this week to discuss blah, 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 blah. Just that step is done so infrequently. Doing it puts you in a better place, and it does what? Increases your chances. Consider your application strategy. Blindly applying, or what we call the shotgun method or spray and play, that is not, spray and pray, that is not an effective way. The last one is kind of a smorgasbord. It is consistency, patience, and grace. You got to be consistent with it, right? You can't go hard for a couple of weeks, get tired, and then you don't do anything for a month. It has to be consistent. Patience. I was on a Twitter space the other day about someone in a similar position, and they were really frustrated, couldn't get a job, and I'm asking them, how often are they applying, or where are they applying to? And basically, they had applied to one place in the last 2 weeks and 2 places in the last month. 3 applications, and they're just upset. Like, I don't know what's going on. I need help. You don't need help. You just need to increase your frequency. Get consistent with it. I was upwards of 200 apps before I got my first tech job. Over 200 for sure. And when I got to 200, I just got tired. I stopped counting because it was so depressing. But the point is, you have to be consistent. And last but not least, give yourself grace. And sorry for turning away. I got my little whiteboard down here. Probably I should post it up on the wall, right? But anyway, give yourself grace. Allow yourself the opportunity to continue to learn, to grow, to upskill, and be able to be as marketable as possible. Easy, for instance, if you're knowledgeable of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and your desire is to become a front-end developer, please know today, this is, again, early 2023, you have to have a JavaScript framework under your belt. I don't care if it's React, Angular, you have to have one. You have to show, not only do I know vanilla JavaScript, okay, maybe even TypeScript, maybe better, but not only do I know that, but I know how to use it in an efficient manner to get certain common web tasks done. That is the purpose of why every framework is built, is to get certain common tasks done much more efficiently, certain lines of code. So that is a must if you're trying to become a web developer. Now, you may go for becoming just a web editor or an HTML email developer or certain other, or content marketing developer. There's certain little niche titles where HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is enough. If you're applying to those, you're good. If you're not, be sure you have that framework under your belt. And to be honest, particularly if you're coming out of a boot camp, it would not hurt at all to show, and I can tie my front end, I can tie this static web page to a back end, right? Vis-a-vis APIs, vis-a-vis my database or whatever I want to use, I can at least tie it to the back end. Having that knowledge means you're able to have the conversation with that part of the team if those different roles are segmented. And that'll give a company more confidence in you. Follow that framework. If you have any questions, feel free just to reach out to me here on YouTube, and I hope that helps you out.